Hi guys, Andy here, and I'm here to bring you all things Monday to Makeup related. That's your vibe. I'd love it if you would subscribe to be part of my little slice of the internet. And in today's video, I am bringing you what would have been my May update for the Finish 8 by Halloween, but it's going to be my finale for the project. So if you want to see the progress we made, I was working on my 2 palettes and this KVD foundation. Then let's just go ahead and talk about it. So, if you haven't been keeping up to date with this, I don't know who originally created things like this, but I just wanted to work on some spooky items and get them done by Halloween, and that was like, I think it was an 8-month project. I started in February, so we've been going since then. I originally, like I said, had 8 items. I have decluttered or hit my goal and rolled out everything but these 3 items that we are working on today. Since we're only working on 3 items, 2 of them being palettes that I just have to hit a usage goal on, I just figured it's okay for me to end this. I'm thinking I want to cut back on what I'm working on again. You know, I go through the spurts of I want to work on a bunch of stuff and then, hey, I need to cut back. And this is a project that I didn't love that I did. I think maybe next year I want to do the Graveyard Project pan that just started that Emily and Max does. But yeah, this just didn't go well, and that's okay. That's something okay for me to admit, that I didn't love this, that I did it, and it's done, and that's okay. But we did make a little bit of progress, and so we can talk about that to end this project. So, for the Unearthly Dead of Night palette, I had a goal to no pan left behind this, and I did that back in March. Gotta say the correct M month. So, this is what the palette looks like as of today. Like I said, back in March, I had already used all the shades. My secondary goal for this palette was this shade Forest. I wanted to use 13 times. Can you see that beautiful dip? That makes me really, really happy. I have used that shade 3 out of 13 times. I did use it once in April, and I have used it once in May. So, I feel totally okay putting this up. I do know my thoughts, feelings, everything on this palette. So, like I said, it is another thing that, I'm okay with putting this palette away. Our other palette we were working on was the Bella Beaute Bar Basic Witch palette, which looked like this. And I also had a no pan left behind goal on this, which I did finally meet last month in April, which is exciting. I finally did it, got all my uses. And I had a 13 use goal on this shade Incantation, and I used it once in April, so it's at 2 out of its 13 uses. And like I said, I also know all of my thoughts, feelings, everything about this palette, so I'm very happy to just put both of these palettes away and focus on the other palette goals that I have in my collection. 13 uses for a palette, for me, that's a lot. that is actually a lot. So I'm okay with putting those away. I feel good about it. Now, the other thing we have is this KVD foundation. And so it's the Good Apple Serum Foundation. And I have mine in the shade Light 12. I wanted to get to where that line is in nail polish, which is about half. It's probably a little more than half, but I had already used some of it when we rolled this in. I do really like this foundation. I think it's a beautiful formula. I think it's a beautiful shade for me. I used this 4 times in April, once in May, so I've used this 10 times since we started this, and I'm hoping you can clearly see that line of demarcation there. So we're about halfway to where my goal is. And I'm, like I said, okay with ending this. I know I love this foundation and I know it's going to get used, but this is actually something that I plan to set out over here. I have about 5 products that are sitting on my shelf next to me for if a prompt comes up in a project and they fit the prompt, I plan to roll them in. So I'm going to stick this over here because this is the foundation I would like to still work on. And I'm only you know, after we end this, I'm only working on one other foundation. And that's if I like this. I have not even tried this yet to make sure that's something I like. So if I don't, then maybe this will take its place. But for right this very moment in time, it's going to sit over there and call it quits. And I am okay with that. I don't know if there will be any other projects that I will be ending at the moment, but I do know for at least right this second, this is one that I'm just kind of over it. So I hope you guys understand. This project didn't get a lot of views anyway when I would post it, so I'm sure you guys do understand. But I'm going to put these palettes up. They're good. And I'm going to put this foundation to the side to hopefully roll it into a different project for a different prompt. But that is going to do it for this update / finale. I hope you guys understand, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.